It's common to think that uniqueness of prime factorizations is something which is obvious. And maybe this is because we're used to talking about the prime factors of a number. Now what I'd like to do is to show you a simple, similar situation where factorization is not unique. So consider the world of even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, so on. Now let's define an even prime, and by that I do not mean a prime which is even, because there's only one prime which is even, that's number 2. Let's define an even prime to be an even number, in other words, one of these, that's not a product that can't be factored, in other words, into two smaller even numbers. So the first few even primes are 2, 6. Now 6 we can write as 2 times 3, but 3 is not an even number. 10 is 2 times 5, but 5 is not even. But on the other hand, 4 is equal to 2 times 2, so it is a product of smaller even numbers. 14 is the next. 18 is 2 times 9, but that doesn't help us. 22 is an even prime. 26 is an even prime, and so on. Check a few cases yourself. Now, every even number is going to be a product of even primes, and that's very easy to prove, and it's similar to the way we prove that every integer is a product of primes. All you do is you just keep factorising as long as you can. So we see that 4 is 2 squared, 8 we can factorise as 2 times 2 times 2, 12, well that's 2 times 6, and so on. 20, that's going to be 2 times 10. Simple, straightforward. But the interesting thing is that factorisation into even primes is not always unique. A simple example is to take the integer 60, which is an even number, and you can write 60 as 6 times 10, and 6 and 10, as we've seen, are both even primes, or you can write it as 2 times 30, and 2 and 30 are even primes. And here's another example. If you take 420, this is not, of course, a factorisation into even primes. This is just the standard prime factorisation. But that gives us a hint how we might proceed. We can write 420 as 2 times 210, and you can check that 210 is an even prime. 6 times 70, 10 times 42, and 14 times 30, all of which are even primes. So factorisation is certainly not unique in this similar situation.